Yo, 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 what is going on, people? How are y'all doing? Can all hear? Holy crap. We got a lot to uncover in today's video because the market has gone gangbusters and we're getting into that weird spot where they're doing it and making it the most uncomfortable trade possible. What I mean by most uncomfortable trade possible is that, in the beginning of the bounce, there was a little bit of a wall of worry. People didn't believe it because people were thinking recession. They were also thinking about the jobs report. All of these things came into play. And then, whoop, for some reason, they've disappeared and the narrative had changed. Now the narrative is in the pain trade, and we're in a pain trade, is that we are grinding higher and people desperately want to get exposure, myself included, but we are up so many days in a row that as soon as you cry uncle and grab that exposure that you need, right, that extra risk on the trade because the bounce is so hot, the market will probably dump off for a couple days, right? And so that's the pain trade that we're in right now. They're making the market so hot that it's impossible to short, even though all the signals say potentially short, but they're giving us no inclination that we can short because there's no intraday setups to short, right? Like an intraday rollover setup. We're not seeing these. And inevitably, when we have any kind of dips in the market, like even for like a second, they're getting bought up. Like, for example, I wouldn't even call this really a dip, but we were looking like we're going to break out. We had this kind of candle, and we came down to support and it just got bought right back up, right? And so these kind of things are happening where it's like, you have these, like, for example, there's just traps. And so, like, this is the first day I didn't short, pat on my back, but I got smoked out a couple days last week trying to. So not that much pat on my back. But, in the morning, you had this, like, see this big dump here? It's like, and it was like, here we go. And then the market just hit, some invisible magic line that I personally don't know. And then it ripped back and it was off to the races. And so we are in the uncomfortable pain trade where everything you see feels like a chase, but you can't short. And so what's happening is, people are going to be starting to throw in the towel here and just go long, right? And because you can see you're even doing it on some declining volume here, like the volume is so light today. And, and that's probably when you get the rug. Now, will the rug... When I say rug, like, I don't think we're coming crashing back down, right? But when we do get the inevitable rug, it will, at least coming back and fill, probably into this kind of area here, right? And so we do just have to be a little bit careful. We are in, like, I think just like that precarious position. We got 97 stochastics, right? But we've been overbought for many days, right? So, you can't put too much credence into that. But I think it's just a difficult spot here, man. It's a difficult spot. I think you just got to close your eyes a little bit, trade the individual setups that you see in individual stocks and keep very tight stops. And don't be afraid to just get stopped out and re-enter lower or at a better opportune time. You can see the SPY also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days. I can't even, it's rare to get 8 huge days. Dude, 510 to 560, 50 points. The market's about 10%. Because that's a whole year's worth of gains. We've done it in 7, 8 days, right? So that's where we have to be kind of mindful of it. And then, even the IWM is picking up quite a bit of steam here. And if you're actually running your scans, you're seeing a lot of IWM type of names starting to look good. So my semi-expert synopsis is that, we're going to have to be probably tomorrow, both, with the ability to take longs and shorts. If we see intraday weakness, if it gets bought up, then we're going to have to long. I would not be adding new swing trades per se when the market's up 8 days in a row. But, if you're day trading, it's like, if we're chasing things up because the market's just so hot and that's what we have to do, then that's what we do. It's not the easy trade right now. In the first days of a run are always easiest. Every day that you keep going up, right, you have more and more risk to it. But as you remount more levels, more people got to pile in. You can see the 9 EMAs at 16 points away. we have quite a bit of room here. If we open weak tomorrow, we're probably going red to green. I think if we finally do get one big gap into this top of the Bollinger Band, probably we can look at potentially taking a short for a couple days. If we don't see that, then, we just have to do what we do, right? Now, look, I would say that the easy trade, not the easy trade, but the real trades are in the kind of IWME type of names, these bottoming patterns, because I think the QQQs is just so extended. We want to try to probably stay away from adding like a NVIDIA or something that's like already hitting the top of the Bollinger Band, and try to go for some of these like little specky kind of names. Look at this thing, 800% today on Redfin. You got room up to 11, then 17, and then look at this base on this thing. Love it. This is right up our alley. Big increase in volume. You got Zim here. On earnings. We had a nice trade on this today in the morning off the opening dips, and then kind of dumped off end of day. But I do think this is a chance to break through this and start filling out some levels too. This used to be $90 too. We're looking for this kind of Nike swoosh, right, pattern, right? Like a little rounded hockey stick, Nike swoosh, whatever we want to call it. That's what we're looking for right now. Fubo you can take off, and apps you can take off. Both too extended. Now, you can see here, I think I like this alt. If you remount the 200-day moving average and then you break over this trend line, you have 4.5 million shares, volume up 15%. A beautiful trender. That's the thing. We're into this. This is where we want to be. I love it. VKTX, look at this end of day push. I didn't see what the news was. I'll check it when we're done with this. But, you want to see this kind of power push, and I think that we're also getting into that period where, these kind of names are just getting picked up, right? These kind of names get picked up. You got a little bit of a, I don't know what you call that, right? Like a triangle thingamajiggy, right? Like, there's so many names for these things. We'll just call it the triangle thingamajiggy. Love the look on this. TJTX up 14%, 12 million shares volume. Look at the range, like the beautiful. This is the sweet spot of the market. When you get those $30, $40 stocks that still move $3, $4, dude, that's like and you got the liquidity. That's what you want to see. This is the sweet spot of making money. When these kind of names are hot, that's when it's good. Sim, I'm looking for these kind of bottoming names, right? Sim is starting to fill its gap here. Look at this thing. Awesome range, $3, right in that kind of sweet spot of price range I was talking about. UPST, nice flag here. You got a pretty low float on this $3 billion company, tons of upside, clearing out levels here. If you look at here, you got room to maybe 50 on this thing, and it could get there fast if this market keeps up steam. I got Iova here too, right? You got a little bit of a flag pattern coming off right out of this. This got pretty good range on it too. Not my particular cup of tea. I like a little bit more ATR in dollar terms, but in percentage terms, it does have it. HIMS is another one, I think, here. You had a decent day on this. If you can kind of close over this 9 EMA, you may start to see some bottoming in this, fill up into this 20 EMA, maybe even the 50-day moving average. Whoa. I don't know what this thing is. Hold on. Bam, 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 bam. Coop bang. This looks like a swing trade, honestly, but you can also day trade it. It was up 5%. Dude, you got 23 break on this. Nice liquidity, 12 million shares. Pretty good intraday range. Like, I think this is right up our alley. Let's roll with that bad boy. Oof, that's hot, man. Look at this. And you got Nike swoosh on this thing too. Intel, this is a sneaky long-term pick, I think. My guess is this last swoosh was the final swoosh, on this, where now it kind of turns into like a little bit of a value stock. If you look at Intel, it's basically trading at book value at this point, right? So, when the market gets on, there's nowhere to go. Like, these things get picked up. And the reason I actually think this could is not necessarily even because of the daily chart, but it was specifically this thing that I saw intraday. Intel never moves like this where you can just like swoosh up like vertical and even create these kind of big wicks. It's more of a like I move 30 cents a day kind of name. And all of a sudden, you're starting to get these kind of things happen. I mean, there's people coming in on this, and so I think that's important. We want to add that. AVGO had an inside day yesterday, pretty much closed right there. I think this one has got a chance for tomorrow if we need a semi. Amazon is starting to flag here too. Docs flag pattern. And then this apps, you got a flat top breakout setting up here. 1 test, 2 tests, 3 tests. You got a little bit of coagulation right here. It may need another day, obviously, but you've got 2 inside days here. And in a hot market, you don't always get the picture perfect flags. Inside days actually end up being right where the sweet spot is. So keep in mind of that. Dude, the market's hot. What can you say? I gave up trying to short this thing a couple days ago. I didn't do it on Friday. Didn't do it today. There are sometimes you just call uncle, tuck your balls up your pants, and, you just close your eyes and do the stranger and buy some turds. And that's what I'm going to do for a little bit, till we get the real overextension. Don't worry about this, but I was looking at this for potential short, but I ain't doing it. Now, what would cause me to get short is like, for example, seeing the videos at the top of the Bollinger Band here. If we got a gap up here, right, maybe into like 134, 135, I think, for a day or two, that would be a good one. Look at this thing, we should have added a couple thousand shares and then just sat around. You know what I mean? Guys, you only get, this thing's ready to break out again. It's amazing. So just got to be mindful of this thing. The markets run away. I'd only get short if we start to see like big exhaustion-y kind of gaps. Then let's do it, right? Otherwise, let's leave it alone and just have some fun with everything. That's my 2 takes. I love you guys. Peace in the Middle East.